Hi, welcome to another video. It's hard to believe it's already been 4 years since I started investing for myself in the stock market. If you're a returning viewer, you'll know I'm a passionate dividend investor. Here's a quick look at how far I have come. So I started investing in October of 2021. My first stock purchases were 4 ETFs for a total of $90.66. My first dividend payment in October of 2021 was $1.62. My total dividend income for 2021 was $61.90. But wait till you see how far I have come. Get ready to be motivated. My rallying cry is always just start. Don't wait until you're ready because you'll never be ready. Because that was me in September of 2021. I had watched videos, I had heard a lot and read a lot about the growth in retail investing, and yet I was waiting because I felt like I didn't have money. And then I snapped in October of 2021. And the rest, like they say, is history. Now, earlier this year, I indicated that my goal for 2025 was to achieve an average monthly dividend income of at least $500 this year. So in this video, we'll see how I am tracking towards that goal as well. For those who may not know, I invest on Questrade. That's the platform on which I invest. And if you're looking to open up an account on Questrade, I have a referral code down in the description section. If you use my referral code, you will get $50 that you can put towards your own investments. Please keep in mind that I might benefit as well. So in this video, I'll share with you the total dividend income I have received over these 48 months or 4 years of investing in the stock market. I'll also share with you how much dividend income my portfolio paid me in September. Now, keep in mind that I reinvest all my dividends into the portfolio to help it grow faster, but I also contribute new money into the portfolio as often as I can. Please note that in most of my videos, I mostly share my dividend income and not the total portfolio return because my goal from the get-go was to create a new income stream, passive income in the form of dividends to replace my employment income. Now, because I'll be sharing an update on my September dividend income, I will list down in the description section below the total amount invested in each of the positions that I cover in my September dividend income update. And if you stay to the end, I will share some of my recent stock purchases over the last 60 to 90 days. Now, before we look at the September numbers, if you enjoy content like this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It helps the channel grow. It also encourages me to continue making these videos. Don't forget to share with family and friends as well. With that out of the way, let's look at my dividend income for September 2025. Let's start by quickly going over my activity summary. So this is my activity summary. So I download this activity summary from my brokerage account on Questrade. In column C, I have the transaction date. That would be the date on which I received a dividend payment. Column D says action. So this is dividends basically. Column E says ticker. Tickers are codes by which stocks trade on the stock market. So the ticker for Bank of Montreal, for instance, is BMO. The ticker for Apple is AAPL. The ticker for Nike is NKE. You get the idea. Column F says description or stock. So this is the name of the company. Alphabet, ticker symbol is GOOGL. That's for Class A. Manulife Financial, ticker symbol MFC. TD Bank is ticker symbol TD. So F, stock name or ETF description. Column G, quantity. This is the number of shares for which I'm receiving a dividend payment. Column H says net amount. Returning viewers will know that I love investing on Questrade in part because the platform allows investors to hold stocks in either Canadian or US dollars, depending on where the stock is listed. So column H is the net amount in the respective currency. For instance, for Google, I have 25 shares, would have paid me $4.47 in US dollars. For Manulife Financial, that's a Canadian listed stock, it would have paid me $52.80 for 120 shares. I is the currency. Column J says all Canadian. Now, for reasonability, to make sure that we're working with a single currency, comparing apples to apples, I often convert US dollar dividend income to Canadian dollars. Column L says activity type, dividends, of course. Another activity type might have been trades. So if I was buying or selling stocks, that would be a trade here. Column M, account type. I have 3 different accounts on this portfolio. So I have 2 tax sheltered accounts plus 1 taxable account. So the 2 tax sheltered accounts include RRSP. So the RRSP is equivalent to the 401k. And I also have a TFSA. The TFSA is equivalent to the Roth IRA. The main difference between the TFSA and the RRSP is that in the TFSA, you invest after-tax dollars. In the RRSP, you invest pre-tax dollars. And the third account is a basic taxable account, a margin account. So in total, I have 3 different accounts on this portfolio. Now, let's look at my dividend income for September of this year. So in September, I received 13 different payments for a total of $576.36. On September the 2nd, I received 5 different payments. Enbridge paid me twice. I have it both in my margin account and the TFSA. Now, I've had questions in the past from viewers who say, why do you hold the same stock in 2 different accounts? Largely because in the tax sheltered accounts, the RRSP and the TFSA, the contribution room in these accounts is limited annually, is set by governments. So the TFSA contribution room for 2025, for instance, is $7,000. So if I had more money to invest in a specific position and my room in my TFSA is maxed out, then I will continue to invest in the position that I want to build up, but in a different account. So that's Enbridge. On September the 2nd, I got 2 different payments. In my margin account, I have 101 shares and I got $95.19. In my TFSA, the tax sheltered account, I have 152 shares and I received $143.26. So in total, Enbridge paid me $238.45. Again, on September the 2nd, Fortis paid me $87.33. I have 142 shares in my TFSA. Fortis is a utility company. By the way, Enbridge is an energy company. Pfizer Healthcare, September the 2nd. So Pfizer was a new position into my portfolio this year. And then I quickly figured out it was a mistake. So I've since sold out of the position. But I had 30 shares of Pfizer that I had started this year, and it paid me $18.28. Pfizer is a good stock, to be honest, but I figured I'd rather concentrate in the positions I have. Again, on September the 2nd, Visa, ticker symbol V, I have 14.45 shares, paid me $11.86. September the 9th, Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol J&J, I have 20 shares, paid me $36.14. On September the 15th, I have Alphabet Google, both Class A and Class C. I have 25 shares of Class A, and it paid me $6.21. And I also have 30 shares of Class C, and it paid me $7.45. As a matter of fact, I just trimmed this position. I previously had 44 shares of Class C. So in total, Google paid me less than $14, and I have it in my TFSA. That's Google. On September the 19th, Manulife Financial, I have 120 shares, paid me $52.80 in my margin account. September the 29th, I received 3 different payments, all from ETFs. XIC is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the entire Canadian market, and I largely hold it for dividend income because the Canadian market is dominated by its 5 big banks and they're great dividend payers. So XIC, I have 120 shares, paid me $33.72. It's in my margin account. On the 29th, I also have SCHD, and I have it both in my TFSA and RRSP. 33 shares in my TFSA, and I got $10.16, and 111 shares in my RRSP, $40.17, for a total of $50.33 from SCHD. Last but not least, September the 30th, SPLG. This is a SPDR S&P 500 ETF. I have 120 shares in my TFSA. I received $33.79. Now, for all my US listed stocks, all the dividend income I receive from them in my TFSA, the amounts I'm sharing are after tax amounts. Again, in total, $576.33 from 13 different payments in September of 2025. Keep this amount in mind for when we look at how much I received in September of 2024. Now, let's go and look at 2021 to 2025. So here we go. So in 2021, that's when I started investing. In October, my first dividend payment was $1.62 from XEI. That's a BlackRock ETF that tracks 75 of the best dividend payers in the Canadian market. And this is a monthly dividend payer. I don't have this position anymore. That was my only dividend income in October of 2021. In November of 2021, I received $3.72. That's how little dividends start. So don't be discouraged if you start by receiving pennies. You can see here 16 cents, 24 cents, 8 cents from ZEG. The first meaningful dividend income I received was in December when I received $56.56. That's enough to gas up my car. So that is 2021. Here is something you'll notice. When I first started, all my stocks were ETFs, exchange traded funds. It's recommended that when you're new to investing, you should start with index funds or ETFs because they're a basket of stocks and they come diversified by design. They help investors manage volatility in the stock market, and oftentimes they're very inexpensive to invest in because ETFs are based on a fixed formula. They're passively managed, so they are a great place to start investing. So in 2021, I received $61.90. 2022, I will not look at all of them in detail, otherwise we'll be here forever. So 2022 was the first full year of investing in the stock market. Here's something you'll notice. All my investments were either in my RRSPs or TFSAs, tax sheltered accounts. That's where you start putting your money first before you move to taxable accounts. And you'll also notice that in 2022, I started investing in individual stocks. Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, Royal Bank of Canada, RY, AbbVie, ABBV, Apple. So this is 2022, the first full year of investing in this portfolio, and I received a total of $889.10. Second full year, 2023, again, you'll notice that my ETFs are starting to reduce. I'm investing more and more in the individual stocks. Coca-Cola, Fortis, this is a utility company, Enbridge Energy, Bank of Montreal, Financial Services, Royal Bank of Canada, Apple, Procter & Gamble, TD, Altria, a SIN stock, and so on. And in total for 2023, I received $1,667.62. In 2023, I finally started investing in a margin account. So I started by investing in Enbridge, 24 shares, and that paid me $21.30. I was moving slowly because for as long as I had room in my tax sheltered accounts, I'd put money in there fast. And so that's the order of investing anyway. Always start with tax sheltered accounts. In 2024, we'll look at the first 9 months just for perspective for when we look at the first 9 months of 2025. So for 2024, January of 2024, I received $226.48, 3 different payments, all in my tax sheltered accounts. In February of 2024, $359.51 from 4 different payments, still all in my tax sheltered accounts. And March of 2024, 3 different payments for $118.09. In April of 2024, again 4 payments, $293.27. In May of 2024, again 4 different payments for a total of $364.25. So something I wanted to mention is that I currently do not have any monthly dividend payers. all my stocks pay me on a quarterly basis. So you will see that the cycle repeats itself. The 3 stocks you see here, the ones that are paying me in May, you'll see them pay me again in August. So every 3 months they rotate. Now, the amount being paid will be different, will be higher because I reinvest dividends and I contribute additional money to the positions every time I can. So that's something to keep in mind. So May 2024, 365.25. June 2024, here we go. 8 different payments for a total of 214. And I have since sold out of my Alphabet position in my RRSP. And I've also trimmed this position right now. So $214.03 in June of 2024, July of 2024. In July, $288.33, 5 different payments. TD paid me twice. I have it in 2 different accounts. August of 2024, I have 4 different payments for a total of $374.41. Bank of Montreal, 120 shares for $186 in August of 2024. I think at this point, this was the highest single payment I had ever received from any stock. That's why I remember 186. Now, September of 2024. Here we go. This is September of 2024. 9 different payments for a total of $244.70. Remember, we just looked at September of 2025 and I received $576.36. So my dividend income for September of 2025 is more than 130% higher than I received in September of 2024. Now, let's go and look at my dividend income for 2025. Earlier this year, I set a goal that I was looking to attain an average monthly dividend income of at least $500 in 2025. So let's look at 2025 and see whether I am on track to achieve that goal. In January of 2025, I received $267.80 from 4 different payments. That's January of 2025. In February, I received $558.33 from 6 different payments. At this point, that was the highest single monthly dividend payment I'd ever received. So I think what boosted my income the most was the new position I started for Royal Bank in my TFSA. I previously had Royal Bank only in my RRSP, and now I have 41 shares of Royal Bank in my TFSA. So February, $558.33. March of 2025, $480.89 for 14 different payments. Now, again, as I indicated earlier, you will see the 14 shares show up again 3 months from now. So in June, unless I sold out of some position, I can't think right now, but I have 14 different payments for a total of $480.89. April of 2025, $316.48 from 4 different payments. That's April of 2025. In May of 2025, I have 6 different payments for a total of $662.93. This is the highest monthly payment so far up to this point, up to May of 2025. June of 2025, $534.29. So again, 14 different payments, like I indicated. Every 3 months, you'll see the same stocks kind of rotating unless I make adjustments to the positions. July of 2025. In July, $363.24 from 6 different payments. Nike. Nike is a new position at this point. Earlier this year, I did a video highlighting 3 stocks that I thought were a great deal to invest in February. And one of them was Nike, the other was PepsiCo, and then there was TD Bank. And then when the tariff situation set in April, Nike dropped further and I entered the position buying 38 shares. I think I got in at about $54 a share. And I think Nike is about $73 today. And then in August, $678.44. This for sure is the highest monthly payment for any single month since I started investing. So August of 2025, $678.44. And then September, we just looked at that. And so $576.36. Now, let's look at all the dividend income I have received in the last 48 months. Let's look at how many payments I have received in total since I started investing. Dividend payments. So up to here, that's a total of 236 different payments for a grand total of $10,675.01, close to $11,000 in 48 months or 4 years. Now, someone is going to say 4 years, only $11,000 or less than $11,000. For me, I think the key is to see that progressively every next year I'm receiving more dividend income. I think that the portfolio is also appreciating. Ultimately, I'm not looking to sell my stock to cover my expenses. And for as long as each progressive year my dividend income grows, I think I am winning. So that's the total dividend income I have received, almost $11,000. And of course, I've reinvested all of it in the market. I have not yet updated my monthly dividend tracker. Let's go and update my dividend tracker. So this is my monthly dividend tracker. Returning viewers will be familiar with this. It starts in 2021 because that's when I started investing in the stock market. And you'll probably recognize my first dividend payment of $1.62 and the $61.90 that I received in the whole of 2021. So that was my total dividend income for 2021. My first full year of dividend investing. These are the monthly dividend amounts. And I received a total of $889.10. And that's equivalent to about $74 in monthly dividend income. And that would be for 2022. 2023, I received a total of $1,667.62, which is equivalent to about $139 in monthly dividend income. 24, I received a total of $3,617.64 in total dividend income. That's equivalent to just over $300 in monthly dividend income. Now, for 2025, let's update September. That was $576.36. There we go. Voila. And so you can see that for 2025, the first 9 months, I have already exceeded my total dividend income for 2024. And my average monthly dividend income based on the whole year is already about $370. My goal for 2025 is to achieve an average monthly dividend income of $500. That is equivalent to at least $6,000 in 2025. Let's see how close I am year to date based on just the 9 months. So based on just the 9 months, I'll see how close I am to my $500 goal. See, there we go. $493.20. That's my average for the first 9 months. Based on my target of $6,000 for 2025, I need to receive, let's see, that's going to be the total $6,000 minus amount received so far. Yeah, $1,561. I expect that I should be able to achieve this. We'll see how that goes. My hope is that I will come very close to the $6,000 if I do not actually beat it. I think I'll beat it, but we'll see how that goes. So please do not compare yourself to other investors. Our stories are all very different. Our goals are different. I am able to make these kind of strides because of my sense of urgency, reinvesting all my dividend income. I'm certainly making sacrifices that a lot of people will not make. My hope is that by sharing my journey, I motivate others who are sitting on the sideline who think, oh my goodness, starting with $1 in dividend, where does that take you? I started with $1. Anyway, that is the update of my dividend income. Over the last 48 months, I've received close to $11,000. Progressively from 2021-22, the amounts keep increasing year over year. Now, let's go and look at some of my stock buys over the last 60 to 90 days. Okay, so here is a quick table of the stocks I have been investing in. I have the stock name or ETF, the number of shares that I bought, the dividend payments, the annual dividends per share for each of these positions, and the potential increase in dividend income going forward from these investments. And this is the TTM yield for the ETF stocks because their dividend payments are not fixed. So the first position is VOO. VOO is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, very popular. And I started this position and I have 8 shares. Now, I know someone is going to flag this because I have SPLG as well. So SPLG is a State Street ETF. It also tracks the S&P 500. So VOO is an absolute overlap, 100% overlap with SPLG. However, I have a plan for this. VOO pays about $7 per share annually based on the TTM yield, the trailing 12 month of 1.14. So I expect to receive about $56 in dividend income annually going forward. CVX, this is Chevron Petroleum. I got 7 shares and it pays a dividend of $5.81 per share annually. So potential dividend income, $40.70 annually. VTI, I already have this in my portfolio. So VOO and CVX are both new. VTI I already have, but I added 9 new shares to my VTI. And the average dividend payment for VTI is about $3.86 per share annually. So that will add about $35 annually to my portfolio. ZCN. ZCN is Bank of Montreal's total stock market ETF. It tracks the entire Canadian stock market, and I got 75 shares in my margin account. It pays about 96 cents annually per share, so that will add about $72 annually to my dividend income. Royal Bank of Canada, I got 20 shares in a margin account. Now, I already have the Royal Bank of Canada in my RRSP and my TFSA, and it pays $6.16 per share. So that should add about $123 to my annual dividend income. And I have Bank of Montreal as well. Added this to a margin account. I already have Bank of Montreal in my TFSA. It's one of my best dividend pairs. So I've started a new position for Royal Bank and Bank of Montreal in my margin account. Bank of Montreal pays $6.52 per share. So that will increase my annual dividend income by about $65. Enbridge, I added 70 shares. It pays $3.77 per share. That will add about $264 in annual dividend income to my portfolio. SPLG, it pays about 77 cents per share. So adding 22 shares will add about $17 to my annual dividend income. You should understand that the S&P 500 is currently dominated by technology companies, and those companies are not known for being good dividend payers, but they're great growth stocks. So I hold the S&P 500 largely for growth. Now, this will add up to, in terms of increase to my annual dividend income, to my portfolio going forward. I know that's not a lot of money for some people, but for me, who is trying to build a steady income stream, this is very exciting. So this is my list of new additions to my portfolio over the last about 2 to 3 months. So that's my 4-year update of investing in the stock market as a passionate dividend investor. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Is this encouraging, or do you think, oh, that's very little money, I'd rather be putting my money somewhere else? Anyway, I am excited about my progress, and I will continue to share my journey with you all on here. If you're interested, be sure to come back. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please consider liking, subscribe, share with family and friends. I'll see you in the next one.